The vastness of deep space held many secrets, but none quite as surprising as the human vessel Defiant. To the approaching Kraxan battle fleet, it appeared as nothing more than a primitive cargo ship, barely worth the energy required to power their weapons. Admiral Vexthor, supreme commander of the Kraxan Empire's 3rd Expedition Force, watched the small ship with 6 eyes of gleaming contempt. Pitiful, he rumbled, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light of nearby stars. Another species that dares to crawl from their world before they're ready. His command deck hummed with the quiet efficiency of his crew, each member of the crystalline race performing their duties with mechanical precision. Captain Isabella Martinez stood on the bridge of the Defiant, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display showing the approaching Kraxan fleet. Their massive ships, resembling jagged crystals the size of small moons, filled the view screen. Most captains would have surrendered at the sight, or at least attempted to flee. Martinez did neither. "Status of the masking field, Lieutenant Patel," she asked, her voice steady despite the tension filling the bridge. "Operating at 98% efficiency, Captain," Patel responded from his engineering station, fingers dancing across holographic controls. "They're seeing exactly what we want them to see." The Defiant represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, and their best-kept secret. While its exterior appeared outdated and vulnerable, the ship housed experimental technologies that had taken Earth's best minds decades to perfect. But none of that would matter if the Kraxan Empire discovered the truth too soon. "Their lead vessel is charging weapons," announced Commander James Henderson, his weathered face illuminated by the red warning lights now pulsing through the bridge. Multiple target locks detected. Martinez allowed herself a small smile. "Commence Operation Trojan. Let's show them what happens when they judge a book by its cover." The Kraxan fleet's first salvo lit up space like artificial stars, streams of crystalline energy designed to shatter any normal ship's hull. But the Defiant was far from normal. As the beams approached, the ship's quantum displacement field activated, causing the attacks to pass through seemingly empty space while the Defiant appeared to take devastating damage. "Transmit distress signals," Martinez ordered. "Make it convincing, Lieutenant Wei." Wei's fingers flew across her communication panel, broadcasting the carefully crafted facade of a dying ship. "Distress signals broadcasting on all frequencies, Captain. Adding some interference for authenticity." Admiral Vexthor watched with satisfaction as the human vessel appeared to list helplessly in space, venting atmosphere and debris. "Predictable," he declared to his bridge crew. "These primitive species never learn. Prepare boarding parties. Their technology may be worthless, but we can always use more slaves for the crystal mines." But as the Kraxan boarding ships approached the apparently crippled Defiant, they had no way of knowing they were flying straight into humanity's carefully laid trap. Captain Martinez watched the enemy ships approach, remembering all the war games and simulations that had led to this moment. The Defiant might be outnumbered and outgunned by conventional standards, but humanity had learned long ago that conventional thinking rarely won wars. "All hands, prepare for Phase 2, Martinez announced shipwide. "Remember your training. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity won't be underestimated." The massive Kraxan vessels drew closer, their crystalline structures casting prismatic patterns across the Defiant's hull. They had no reason to suspect that this seemingly primitive human ship was about to change the course of galactic history. No reason to imagine that their overwhelming superiority in size and firepower might mean nothing against human ingenuity and determination. Commander Henderson looked up from his tactical display. "Boarding ships will be within range in 30 seconds, Captain." Martinez nodded, her posture relaxed but alert. "Initiate containment fields. Power up the quantum inverters. Let's welcome our guests properly." As the Kraxan boarding parties prepared to claim their prize, they remained blissfully unaware that they were about to learn a costly lesson: never underestimate a species that had survived countless challenges on their path to the stars. The true capabilities of the Defiant, and humanity, were about to be revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. As the Kraxan boarding vessels crossed the invisible threshold that marked the Defiant's outer defense perimeter, First Engineer Rajesh Patel's hands moved with practiced precision across his control panel. Years of preparation had led to this moment, and every member of the crew knew their role perfectly. "Quantum inverters at full capacity," Patel reported, his voice carrying the quiet confidence of someone who had spent countless hours perfecting experimental technology. "Containment fields are primed and ready." The approaching Kraxan ships, their crystalline hulls gleaming with internal energy, had no way of detecting the web of quantum fields surrounding them. The Defiant's true nature remained hidden beneath layers of technological deception that humanity had developed specifically for this encounter. "Execute Protocol Medusa," Captain Martinez commanded, her voice carrying across the bridge with calm authority. "Let's show them what they're really dealing with." The quantum inverters activated simultaneously, creating a cascading wave of energy that interfaced directly with the crystalline structure of the Kraxan vessels. The effect was immediate and devastating. The boarding ship's crystal-based technology, which had made them seemingly invincible against conventional weapons, became their greatest weakness. Admiral Vexthor watched in horror as his boarding vessels suddenly stopped responding to commands. "What sorcery is this?" he demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with rage. "Impossible. Their technology is primitive." Aboard the Defiant, Lieutenant Wei couldn't suppress a small smile as she monitored the enemy communications. "They're in complete disarray, Captain. The quantum field is disrupting their neural crystal interfaces exactly as designed." The Defiant's secret weapon was the culmination of Project Prometheus, humanity's response to discovering the crystal-based technology of the Kraxan Empire. While other species had tried to match the Kraxans in brute force, humanity had taken a different approach, developing technology that could turn the enemy's greatest strength into a critical vulnerability. "Launch the resonance probes," Martinez ordered. Commander Henderson responded immediately, deploying a swarm of small, seemingly harmless devices that surrounded the immobilized Kraxan ships. Deep within the Defiant's engineering section, Dr. Arya Nakamura monitored the quantum field harmonics from her specialized station. As the project's lead scientist, she had spent years developing the theoretical framework that made this technology possible. "Field harmonics are stable," she reported via comlink. "Beginning molecular destabilization sequence." The resonance probes activated in perfect synchronization, emitting precisely calibrated energy frequencies that began to affect the crystal lattice structure of the Kraxan ships. What had once been impenetrable began to develop microscopic fractures. Admiral Vexthor watched helplessly as his mighty fleet began to crumble from within. "Full retreat," he roared, but his commands fell on deaf ears as the crystal-based communication systems failed under the quantum assault. Captain Martinez stood from her command chair, watching the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Begin Phase 3. Target their command ship's propulsion matrix. Let's make sure Admiral Vexthor stays for the entire demonstration." The Defiant's hidden weapon arrays emerged from beneath their masking fields, not the primitive projectile weapons the Kraxans had expected, but advanced quantum pulse cannons designed specifically to exploit the weaknesses in crystal-based technology. Commander Henderson's tactical display lit up with targeting solutions. "Weapons locked on their primary propulsion crystals, Captain. Ready on your order." The mighty Kraxan Empire, Martinez said softly, about to learn that size and strength aren't everything. Sometimes the smallest opponent can be the deadliest. She straightened her uniform and gave the command that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. "Fire." The quantum pulse cannons released their carefully calculated bursts of energy, each shot precisely targeted to exploit the growing instabilities in the Kraxan ship's crystal matrix. The results exceeded even the most optimistic projections from their war games. As the Kraxan fleet began to break apart from within, Dr. Nakamura's voice came over the comm again, this time with an urgent warning. "Captain, the quantum cascade is spreading faster than anticipated. We need to moderate the field strength or risk total crystalline collapse." Martinez quickly assessed the situation. Total destruction of the Kraxan fleet hadn't been their goal, they needed to leave enough survivors to carry their message back to the Empire. Adjust quantum field intensity to 30%, she ordered. Let's make sure they remember this encounter for generations to come. The battle was far from over, but humanity had just revealed its hidden arsenal, and the galaxy's balance of power would never be the same. The question now was how the mighty Kraxan Empire would respond to the revelation that their supposedly invincible technology had met its match in humanity's innovative spirit. Admiral Vexthor's command ship shuddered as another wave of quantum disruption washed over its crystalline hull. The mighty vessel, once the pride of the Kraxan Third Expedition Fleet, now drifted helplessly in space, its systems failing one by one. Through the spreading cracks in his bridge viewport, Vexthor watched with mounting horror as the small human vessel transformed before his eyes. The Defiant's outer hull began to shift, panels sliding away to reveal sophisticated weapon arrays and energy projectors that had been completely hidden from Kraxan scans. The primitive cargo ship facade melted away, revealing a warship unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. Status report on the quantum cascade effect, Captain Martinez called out, her voice steady as she watched the Kraxan fleet's formation crumble. Lieutenant Patel's fingers danced across his engineering console. Cascade is spreading through their fleet exactly as predicted, Captain. Their crystal-based systems are completely compromised. But we're detecting unusual energy readings from their command ship. Dr. Nakamura's voice crackled over the comm from her research lab. Captain, they're attempting to adapt. The crystal matrix in their command ship is trying to reconfigure itself to resist our quantum disruption. We need to act now before they develop an effective countermeasure. Martinez nodded grimly. Time to show them our full capabilities. Commander Henderson, initiate Protocol Prometheus. The Defiant's experimental drive core hummed to life, its quantum field generators creating a complex web of intersecting energy patterns that enveloped the ship. The technology was the result of decades of secret research, combining humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics with revolutionary insights into crystal-based technologies. Multiple energy signatures detected from the enemy fleet, Lieutenant Wei reported from her communications station. They're attempting to establish a unified crystal network to strengthen their defenses. Martinez allowed herself a small smile. Just as we predicted. Execute Phase 4. The Defiant's quantum field suddenly pulsed, sending out a carefully modulated wave of energy that interfaced directly with the Kraxan's attempted crystal network. Instead of strengthening their defenses, the network became a conduit for the human ship's disruptive influence. In the engineering section, Patel worked furiously to maintain the delicate balance of energies. Crystal network infiltration successful, he reported. Their attempted defense is amplifying our attack by a factor of 10. Aboard the Kraxan command ship, Admiral Vexthor watched in disbelief as his fleet's desperate attempt to counter the human attack backfired spectacularly. Impossible, he roared, his crystalline form resonating with fury and fear. How can these primitives possess such mastery over crystal technologies? The answer became apparent as the Defiant executed a series of precise maneuvers that would have been impossible for a standard ship of its size. The vessel's quantum field technology didn't just disrupt crystal-based systems, it allowed for unprecedented control over local spacetime geometry. All ships, emergency dispersion. Vexthor commanded, but it was too late. The unified crystal network, meant to be their salvation, had become a pathway for the human vessel's influence to spread throughout the entire fleet. Commander Henderson's tactical display showed the cascading effect of their attack. Crystal network collapse in progress, Captain. Their fleet's unified defense strategy is actually accelerating the breakdown of their systems. Send the message, Martinez ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's first major victory against the Kraxan Empire. Let them know exactly who they're dealing with. Lieutenant Wei opened a channel to the entire Kraxan fleet, broadcasting on frequencies that even their failing systems couldn't ignore. The message was simple but powerful. This is Captain Isabella Martinez of the Earth ship Defiant. You came here expecting to find primitives worthy only of enslavement. Instead, you found humanity. Remember this day. Remember what happened when you underestimated us. The galaxy is changing, and the age of Kraxan supremacy is over. As if to emphasize her words, the quantum cascade reached a critical point. Throughout the Kraxan fleet, crystal-based systems began to fail catastrophically. Ships lost power, weapons went dark, and the once mighty armada began to drift helplessly in space. Dr. Nakamura's voice came over the comm again, this time with a note of triumph. "Captain, we're detecting widespread crystalline structure breakdown across their fleet. The effect is permanent. Even if they restore power, their systems will never achieve the same level of integration again." Martinez stood from her command chair, watching as the Kraxan fleet's formation dissolved into chaos. "Humanity didn't just develop countermeasures against your technology," she broadcast to the failing fleet. "We found ways to improve upon it, to understand it at a level you never imagined possible. This is your only warning, return to your empire. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that the era of underestimating humanity is over." The battle was won, but Captain Martinez knew this was only the beginning. The Kraxan Empire would not take this defeat lightly, and humanity would need to be ready for their response. But for now, they had achieved something unprecedented. They had shown the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, and they had done it not through brute force, but through innovation, determination, and the clever application of superior technology. The crystal throne room of the Kraxan Empire's capital ship Eternal Radiance blazed with angry light as Admiral Vexthor's report echoed through the chamber. The Supreme Council, composed of the Empire's highest-ranking crystalline beings, vibrated with frequencies of disbelief and rage as they processed the news of their fleet's humiliating defeat. High Chancellor Zyx Tau, his crystalline form towering over the others, pulsed with dangerous energy. "You mean to tell us that a single human vessel, a species we had classified as barely worthy of notice, defeated our most advanced battle fleet?" Vexthor's holographic projection flickered, his form still showing damage from the encounter. "The humans, they are not what we thought. Their understanding of crystal technology surpasses even our own. They didn't just defeat us, they fundamentally altered our ship's crystal matrices. 3/4 of our fleet remains non-functional." In the shadows of the throne room, strategic advisor Nixera's crystalline form shifted with thoughtful patterns. Unlike her more reactionary peers, she saw something in this defeat that others were missing. "Perhaps," she interjected, her resonance cutting through the angry chorus, "we should consider what this reveals about our own assumptions." Meanwhile, aboard the Defiant, Captain Martinez and her crew monitored the Kraxan Empire's communications with growing interest. Lieutenant Wei's advanced decryption algorithms had finally cracked their emergency channels. "They're in complete disarray," Wei reported, her fingers moving across her console as she filtered through the intercepted transmissions. "The defeat of their fleet has sparked a major political crisis within their leadership." Dr. Nakamura's voice came through the comm system. "Captain, our analysis of the battle data shows something interesting. The Kraxan's crystal technology has been stagnant for centuries. They stopped innovating because they never needed to, until now." In the crystal throne room, the debate had reached a fever pitch. "We should launch an immediate full-scale assault," demanded War Minister Kwexvor, his crystalline form pulsing with aggressive frequencies. "Crush these humans before they can share their technology with others. And risk losing more fleets." Nixera countered, her calmer frequencies drawing attention. "This human vessel demonstrated capabilities we barely understand. Our standard tactics are useless against their quantum manipulation technology." High Chancellor Zyx Tau raised a crystalline appendage, silencing the chamber. "Show us," he commanded Vexthor, "show us exactly what this human ship did to our fleet." The holographic display shifted, showing the Defiant's transformation from apparent cargo vessel to advanced warship. The Council watched in stunned silence as the recording displayed the systematic dismantling of their supposedly invincible fleet. Their mastery of quantum fields, Nixera observed, it's elegant. While we focused on brute force applications of crystal technology, they explored its fundamental nature. They didn't just copy our technology, they revolutionized it. Aboard the Defiant, Commander Henderson monitored the ongoing situation. "Captain, we're detecting massive fleet movements throughout cracks in space. They're consolidating their forces, but not in an attack pattern." Martinez nodded thoughtfully. "They're protecting their core worlds. They fear we might have more ships like the Defiant. Don't we?" Lieutenant Patel asked with a slight smile. "The quantum shipyards back home are already implementing what we've learned here." Back in the Crystal Throne Room, Nixera made her final argument. "This defeat offers us a choice, Honored Council. We can react with blind aggression and risk losing everything, or we can acknowledge that the galaxy has changed. These humans, they've done something unprecedented. They've forced us to question assumptions we've held for millennia." High Chancellor Zewextal's crystalline form pulsed with complex frequencies as he processed this perspective. "Speak plainly, advisor. What are you suggesting?" "The humans didn't just defeat our fleet, they shattered our understanding of crystal technology's limits. They've demonstrated innovation we thought impossible. Perhaps instead of rushing to war, we should consider something truly radical, diplomacy." The chamber erupted in discordant frequencies of shock and outrage, but Zewextal raised his appendage again. "Continue. Our empire has stood unchallenged for so long that we've become rigid, predictable. These humans, with their adaptability and innovation, have shown us that there might be more to strength than raw power. We face a species that turned our greatest advantage into a weakness. Do we really want to make enemies of such beings?" The council chamber hummed with uncertain frequencies as the leaders of the mighty Kraxan Empire faced a reality they had never imagined, the need to re-evaluate their place in the galaxy. The humans hadn't just defeated a fleet, they had shaken an empire's foundations to its core. 3 months after the historic encounter between the Defiant and the Kraxan fleet, Captain Isabella Martinez stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's newest deep space diplomatic facility. Through the reinforced viewport, she watched as the crystalline form of a Kraxan diplomatic vessel approached, its once aggressive design modified to appear less threatening. "Quite a change from our last meeting," Commander Henderson remarked, standing beside her. The Defiant floated nearby, its true form now visible for all to see, a testament to humanity's technological achievement. "The quantum pulse we used did more than just defeat their fleet," Dr. Nakamura added, her research tablet displaying the latest analysis. "It forced an entire civilization to confront its own stagnation. The Kraxans haven't modified their ship designs in over 3 centuries, until now." The approaching vessel bore evidence of this change. Its crystal matrix showed signs of adaptation, incorporating elements inspired by human quantum field technology. It was a physical manifestation of the Empire's shifting perspective. Lieutenant Wei's voice came through the station's comm system. "Captain, the Kraxan delegation is ready to dock. High Chancellor Zewextal himself is leading their contingent." In the station's diplomatic chamber, Martinez watched as the Kraxan delegation entered. High Chancellor Zewextal's crystalline form had been modified, incorporating new resonance patterns that allowed for clearer communication with non-crystalline species. Beside him, strategic advisor Nixera's form shimmered with frequencies of cautious optimism. "Captain Martinez," Zewextal's translated voice filled the chamber. "The being who showed us that true strength lies not in size or power, but in the ability to adapt and innovate." Martinez stepped forward. "Chancellor Zewextal, I trust your scientists have been busy studying the effects of our encounter." "Indeed." Nixera moved forward, her crystalline form displaying complex patterns. "Your quantum pulse technology didn't just defeat our fleet, it showed us possibilities we had never imagined. Our civilization had grown complacent, believing we had reached the pinnacle of crystal technology's potential. The diplomatic chamber's holoprojectors activated, displaying the results of both human and Kraxan research. The quantum field technologies developed for the Defiant had opened new avenues of crystal manipulation that even the Kraxans hadn't explored in their millennia of development. "We've reviewed the combat logs," Zyxtal announced, his form resonating with newfound respect. "Your victory wasn't just about superior technology. It was your strategy, hiding your true capabilities, understanding our weaknesses, and most importantly, choosing not to destroy our fleet when you could have." Lieutenant Patel, who had joined the diplomatic team, pulled up technical schematics on the central display. "We've prepared a proposal for technological cooperation. There's still much we can learn from each other." The images shifted, showing designs for a new type of hybrid crystal quantum technology. It represented something unprecedented, a fusion of human innovation with Kraxan experience, creating possibilities neither species had achieved alone. "Your proposal is bold," Mixera observed, her crystalline patterns showing intense interest. "Joint research facilities, shared technological development, cultural exchange programs. You offer partnership where others would seek dominance." Martinez smiled. "Humanity learned long ago that true strength comes from cooperation and diversity of thought. We don't want to defeat the Kraxan Empire, we want to help it evolve." High Chancellor Zyxtal moved to the center of the chamber, his massive crystalline form catching the light. "When we first encountered your vessel, we saw what we expected to see, a primitive ship, easy prey for our fleet. We were blind to the possibility that a younger species could surpass us in any way. The mark of true civilization," Martinez responded, "is the ability to learn from mistakes and grow beyond them." The chamber hummed with energy as both human and Kraxan representatives gathered around the diplomatic table. The documents before them would reshape the galaxy's power structure, not through force or conquest, but through partnership and shared innovation. "There will be resistance," Zyxtal warned. "Many in the Empire still cling to old ways of thinking. Change is never easy," Martinez acknowledged. "But the alternative is stagnation. Your empire has stood for thousands of years. Imagine what it could become in the next 1,000 if we work together." As the diplomatic protocols were finalized, Martinez reflected on how far they'd come from that first confrontation. The Defiant's victory had done more than prove humanity's worth, it had created an opportunity for two vastly different species to forge a new path forward. The quantum field generators hummed softly in the background as human and Kraxan representatives signed the historic accords. It was more than a peace treaty, it was a commitment to shared growth and innovation. The galaxy was about to enter a new age, one where the combined creativity of humanity and the ancient wisdom of the Kraxan Empire would push the boundaries of what was possible. The story of the Defiant would be told for generations to come, not just as a tale of military victory, but as the moment when humanity proved that true strength lies not in domination, but in the courage to extend a hand in friendship, even to former enemies. The greatest victories, after all, are not those won through force of arms, but through the power of innovation and the wisdom to know when to transform an enemy into an ally.